CASA of Scottsbluff County has kicked off a month-long initiative aimed at filling gaping holes in the juvenile court system. Executive Director Kelcie McBride explains.
We have the kickoff event for our They Are Worthy event, and it is a recruitment campaign where we are partnering with other service organizations to recruit CASA volunteers and foster parents for our area.
She says that CASA is an acronym for Court-Appointed Special Advocate, and the need is greater now more than ever.
Yeah. So we train a group of volunteers to advocate for kiddos in the county court system. And those kids are in the system not because of something they did, but because of something that someone else did to them. So all of the children we work with are impacted by abuse or neglect. And there's a huge need for volunteers. We would like to think that things don't happen here, but we have a lot of cases that come in, about an average of 100 every single year, and we only have 37 CASA volunteers. So with that, we're only able to serve about 30 to 40% of the cases that come in. And we want to be able to give every child a voice and be there for them while they're going through this difficult time. And we are not attorneys. We're volunteers. We ask our volunteers to meet with the children monthly, get to know them, get to know the people important in the child's life, and eventually our volunteers write a report to the judge to let them know what we believe is in the child's best interest, to give the judge more information to make decisions about those cases.
One of the agencies partnering with the They Are Worthy campaign is St. Francis Ministries, and trainer Teresa Robinson says just like advocates, there's a huge need locally for foster families.
St. Francis Ministries is a child placing agency, so when the children come into the system, we help get them placed into foster homes. And so again, a tremendous need for good foster homes, and especially in this area. Kelcie alluded to the fact that how many cases do come in, and a good portion of them go out of county because there's not enough foster homes.
So if the child can't be placed with a family member or someone they know, if there's not a foster home in the area, then they're getting placed outside of our community. Mm-hmm. So in addition to everything that they're already dealing with, they're having to start at a new school, try to make new friends, try to figure out how their new teachers are, all of that, while still trying to see their parents and get back home. So it's just a lot to put on anybody, but especially children that have already been through so much.
They say that for both entities, there are some minimum requirements they're looking at.
So CASA volunteers, we estimate about 6 to 10 hours a month, and that includes continuing education time. So we do expect 12 hours of continuing ed a year, and but they start out with a 30-hour training. So that's the biggest commitment up front, is those 30 hours. But we work with you to find out what works best with your schedule, and we spread it out over several weeks to make it work for you. And we want you to feel well prepared for the role that you're taking on. So we don't want to provide too much information at once. We want you to have some time to process it and look through that, make sure you're comfortable with it, ask any questions. But after that, 6 to 10 hours a month, we ask people to commit to staying with a case for the average case takes about 1.5 to 2 years. And because of the purpose of CASA, of being that constant in a child's life, we like our volunteers to be able to stay with the case from when it opens to when it closes.
In order to become a foster parent, you need 30 hours of pre-service training, and then a continued 12 hours each year to keep your license.
Man, we are so good.
We're so good, aren't we? And that looks like meeting with the trainer for 3 hours a week for 10 weeks, along with lots of paperwork and background checks and all of that. Home studies, self-studies, home studies, but they do get extensive training, and we really focus on trauma, because all of the kids coming into care have been traumatized in some form or fashion. Abuse and neglect, and it's trauma just in itself being removed from the home.
If you're interested in helping out, McBride says there are 2 more local events planned for this month.
We have two more in-person events planned, and then we also have a social media campaign going on at the same time. And that is just kind of to make people aware of the reality of children in foster care and how people can become a foster parent or become a CASA volunteer to give those children a safe place and to give them a voice in court.
Any of the upcoming
age of
events?
majority singles. We have married singles, just have to be age of majority, and open up your heart and your home, and just bring a child in, and remember that they're just a child. Doesn't matter if they're 6 or 16. They're just a child that needs a loving, stable family environment.
Those events will be held at Cappuccino and Company on Thursday from 6 to 8 p.m. and then the following Thursday, January 27th at 11:30 a.m. at the Lakota Lutheran Church, both in Scottsbluff.